Nirmala Sitharaman and Siddharth Vadrajan directly rebutting you. Siddharth says shabby defences on many specific questions. The Prime Minister made light of some serious questions as well. There were some shocking responses, he says, especially on the issue of corruption during the UPA 1. Nirmala Sitharaman says that contrary to what you say, there was actually a lot of rhetoric in the answers that the Prime Minister gave.
Look, as I said, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but let's just step back for a minute and look at this press conference. This press conference cannot be the basis of completely negating, and certainly despite the most subjective of inferences, nothing of the sort happened in the press conference, of negating a whole 10-year record. All that has happened is there are about a year and a half of harsh economic difficulties. Otherwise, the Prime Minister has pointed out to a superlative track record, and I have nothing to be defensive about. You've had 9 years, no other 9 years of government rule have been better in this country, and that's the statement he has made, an objective fact. Please challenge it, please check it. I repeat. Second, in those 9 years or 8.5 years, the lowest growth rate, average growth rate by us, is higher than the highest growth rate of the NDA. Refute it, dispute it. It is true that 1.5 years have been bad times. If you have good times and you revel and enjoy in it, normally people should be prepared for some bad times also. It's a bit of a misfortune that they are happening towards the end of the term when the elections are around the corner. But I believe that the people of India have longer memories than that, and they understand that some of these problems are not of our own making, some of course are domestic. So, apart from that, the Prime Minister pointed out two schemes. I think India is something to be proud of, the world's largest social welfare scheme, Manrega, which today, its fiercest critics accept has done a lot of good. Food security, unprecedented, something whose effect you will see 10 years down the line in even greater measure, with ancillaries, with supporting structures like warehouses and things. Now, I think these are things which no BJP government, indeed no other government has thought of earlier in this country. So, what does the Prime Minister, the UP or the Congress have to be defensive about? Yes, we've lost 3 assembly elections, and if you start drawing a parallel of 3 assembly elections, that doomsday has come, everything is the end of the world, we have lost everything. I can only request the BJP to come out of cloud cuckoo land, rewind to 2003, October, September, November, when the BJP won 4 state elections, including these 3 very same states. And poor Mr. Vajpayee was persuaded by a group of people to prepone the 2004 elections, and the rest, as they say, is history. The India shining and the rest is history. So please learn your lessons from history. Instead of cooing just because you won 3 states, you have negated 9 years of rule of the Prime Minister, and you are referring to a press conference and you are subject to
Before I go to Rahul Mehra for his Rahul Mehra and Anjali Bharadwaj for their comments, I want to bring in Aditi Fadnis. She's a senior journalist with a Business Standard newspaper, and she was one of the several journalists who was there at that press conference. Ms. Fadnis, what was the real point of this press conference? It's only the 3rd press conference that the Prime Minister has held in his 9 years in office. Did he really have anything to say? What was the message to you as a senior journalist who was there?
Well, frankly, I think everybody in the Congress who I spoke to today is holding their head in their hands and wondering why this press conference was held at all. Because frankly, beyond saying that the Prime Minister is going to pass the baton on, which is actually, I mean, it's natural.
Yes,
he
didn't need a press conference to announce that.
It was a lost opportunity. I feel somewhat differently from Ms. Sitharaman, who is also saying, and the BJP who is also saying it's a lost opportunity, because I think the Prime Minister was just too general. He was rebutting very specific issues in a very, very general way. And, we know all this stuff. We know about all the things that the Prime Minister has done, what a learned person he is, that, you can't hold, world leaders cannot hold a candle to him when it comes to his understanding of the economy. We know all that stuff. What we really wanted to hear was something specific, some issues that the government is going to roll out in the future, and to all those things, he was asked leading questions,
and
to all those specific questions, and to all those things he said he doesn't want to speculate and doesn't want to second guess what the government is going to do.
Rahul Mehra, even if this is likely to have been the Prime Minister's last press conference as Prime Minister, was it too optimistic? Was it optimistic to expect that Manmohan Singh would offer more substantive answers to specific questions?
Well, this is not a Prime Minister who catches the bull by its horn. This is a Prime Minister which is a Prime Minister just occupying a position. This is a Prime Minister, unfortunately, who came up as Mr. Clean, and less said the better about his honesty and his integrity today.
Yes.
This is one of the most corrupt, ministries and ministers and cabinet that he's ever presided over.